Hello everyone, this is a different sort of video today. Yeah, people have asked me about the bike, what it's like. Expensive. Well, I thought they were expensive. I think it was over 1,000, and I've had it. I was working at the time. I think I've had it about 3 years now. So this is the bike. I've tried to give it a bit of a clean, mate. It's gone through the wars, this has. When I first got it, I used to go off-road motorbike riding, and I treated this the same. It had bags of power and, you know, really strong bike. It's been through some mud, this has. I mean, look at the tyres now. So anyway, people have asked me about it. Yeah, we've got a little bike. I rode that for quite a few years, you know, an electric one, and it's just making things easier as you get older. But this bike's a bit of a beast. I'd say, if anything, it's over the top, but the other bike we had, I kept breaking bits off it, and they said to me, you know, this bike is for ladies to ride up the town and buy a bit of shopping. The bike I had before, it's not for going up mountains. So I thought, let's invest and get one, and this is the one I got, and it's got plenty of power. I mean, we've got all the technical specifications and that, so I don't want to waste time going through that. It does fold in half to make it easier to put in your car. I'll probably show you that as well. But really, I suppose it's 5-speed, and it's a 500 watt motor in there, and it's restricted to 15 mile an hour, which is the law at the present time. But with it having a slightly bigger motor, it just pulls and pulls. There's plenty of power. So it's got 7 speeds on the back, Shimano. And it's got disc brakes, but they're not hydraulic, they're just manual. And that side stand is brilliant. The bike does stand up really well. And it's got rear suspension, as you see there. And we've got mud guards. I didn't used to fit them at one time, but these are only like a cheap plasticky mud guard. They're not that brilliant. What do you want to see here? Not much, I don't think. Now, the battery's not in it. I never leave the battery in. And that hole there is a locking hole, so you can lock the battery inside. But I never leave the battery in. I have to go and get that. Yeah, disc brake on the front. Full suspension with this bike, front and rear. And it's pretty good as well. It is quite good. There's my belt the kids bought me, look. One for me and one for Wendy. I'll show you her bike in a second. And there's an infinite number of settings on here. It can get confusing if you mess with it too much, but it's all pretty good. On and off for the lights and the horn. This is where you choose the mode. I'll have to show you that when I get the battery. So it's got a front light on it, no rear light, just a reflector. I mean, we have got a rear light on, obviously, it's just a battery one. The seat looks a mess now. That's with me, you know, bright yellow clothes. I look like Banana Man. And it's gradually rubbed off into the seat, and I can't shift that. I think I about wore the seat out there. But, yeah, as I say, it's a fat tyre bike, as you can see. 20-inch, look. The tyres are 20-inch, 4-inch across. Big tyres, and quite a bit of grip. Still, I mean, they're getting a little bit more worn, but they're all right. Not sure how many miles we've done. As I say, I've had it about 3 years. We only have when me and Wendy go out, it's just a gentle ride somewhere on a path. but when I go out on my own it's a bit more up the hills, and as I showed you the other day, although I take it pretty gentle. Yeah, I don't really got anything else to tell you a second. I'll show you how to fold it down. Now this is the original electric bike I bought, and this too, look, I never leave the battery on the bike. I keep them in the house, especially when it's cold. It doesn't do them any good. This bike is that old. I think these was for sale, oh no, it's over 10 years. It's over 10 years ago. These were for sale on the shopping channel, the IZIP. It could be more than that. I bet it's longer than that. And I bought this third or fourth hand, and it was American built. And at the time they were, oh, these are fantastic. They're everything. You know, you know what the shopping channel's like. And I bought this and thought, well, it's not bad. But as I say, my problem, I had to keep having that rear wheel built because I kept breaking it. But not only did I go over big hills that it's not designed for, I used to have the kids on the back. I made like a seat to sit on the back, and all the kids used to ride on the back. They would now if I let them, but you know, when they're 25, they're getting too old, aren't they? No, mate, they're not that old. I'm being stupid again. But I've stopped the kids riding on the back now because it's costing me too much getting the wheel rebuilt. And the bloke that does it says I'm sick of your bike. But this is really old-fashioned. The new one's got a brushless motor. This hasn't. It's got an internal brake on this side. Yeah, it's looking a bit tatty, I know, but it's had a hard life. Now if you see this, I've actually adapted this bike. That little wheel is to, when you pedal, it knows you're pedaling and it puts the electric on. I've disconnected it. Simple as that. And what I did do, I put this switch on here for Wendy. I mean, it's wearing out, but it's an on-off switch, so you can actually switch the power on and off as you sit on the bike. And the way I've altered it now is because it's that old-fashioned. It had a twist grip, speedo, so now you can pedal along normal and just put the electric on as and when you want to, which is ideal for Wendy. It's got a couple of lights on the front. That's for when I used to go out on it all the time. As I say, this is old-fashioned. It really is. Look at the brakes. You know, the old spoke wheels, and they're not like this now. But this bike's been absolutely fabulous. I altered this because I've actually upgraded the battery. It had the old lead acid, and I did away with that and got the new lithium battery for it. And the difference that made, the battery is lightweight and it lasts so much longer. We can go out all day steady and it's fine. So it's got a new seat on it, luxury look. I bought Wendy that. If you see, I've hacked a big lump off there. Look how rough it is. It's an aluminium frame and it was quite tall, and it was just too tall for Wendy, so I just sliced the lump off the top. Wendy likes to sit with her feet flat on the floor, as many ladies do, so we altered that. It's got full mud guards on. Now I've rode this bike when it's been pouring with rain, and you don't get wet through from the road because the mud guards are pretty good. Now on mine, you get drenched. So there's a lot of advantages with this bike. It's small, it's light, it fits in the car easy, it's brilliant. But it's not got the power of the big one, nowhere near. But if you're just out for a gentle ride, we like this bike. But look, there's not much of a comparison there. Look at that. Honestly, that one's a beast, it is. And as I say, that'll pull you anywhere, that will. I've not really had too much problem. I've had one or two hills that the front end's a bit too light for it, you know what I mean? It's not that it can't pull you up. As you can see, they've both had some use. Anyway, See if I can remember how to fold them up. Right, now I'm going to try and fold this bike up for you and keep it in the picture at the same time. Now, yeah, let's see what happens, because I ain't folded it up for quite some time. I made that look hard work, didn't I? It's not quite in the middle of the shot now, is it? But the seat comes out actually if you need it to. But it does fold up, to be fair. But it don't fold up tiny, does it? It's not going to, is it? It's a big bike. But that just makes it easier. But I will say one thing, I think it's about, I can't remember, is it 30 kilos? It's quite an hefty bike. I mean, I'll show you. Now, fair enough, I'm getting older, but that takes a bit of lifting in the back of the car. It's not that easy. So that's how it is. But next, I'll get the battery. I forgot to bring it with me, didn't I? I'll get the battery and I'll put it back together and show you. Right, let's get this bike put back together. Well, that seemed easier, but I've not done it for a while, so you know, you can get used to it. Now let's get the battery in. Here's the battery, 48 volt, 10 amp hour. Remove the key, hold the bike. Simple as that. Let me just show you the key. It just fits under there. Hope you can see that. And that is to turn it, and that one, see that little hole there? Okay, now that battery won't come out now. If anybody tried to steal it, they can undo this, but you can't get the battery out. And then to turn the ignition on, turn it one more time. Now to lock the bike so it doesn't come apart, that locks on. And so that don't come open, that catch falls into there, and that's it now, the bike's solid. And then we turn the ignition on under there, like that. That's the ignition on now. So if we come round this side, can we see? We press and hold that button and it should come on. There we go. That's showing power assistant level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And they're different levels of assistance. Still, when I go with Wendy, I have to take it right down. I have to reduce the power because we only go steady. We only go 7-8 mile an hour, so you can't. It don't go that slow. So I'll reduce the power down. And now look, no power. Put that on 2. And you use the thumb and the wheel goes. Can you hear the wheel going round now? And as you see, look, well, look, that says 29 mile an hour, but there's no weight on the bike. It won't go that fast. It goes about, I think it's about 11 mile an hour on that setting. But if you take it up to the upper setting, it will go a lot quicker. As I say, the manufacturers say, I don't know whether it's 20, 25 mile an hour, something like that. But in this country, we're restricted to 15. So, and there's the horn. And that switches the light on and off. I'll make sure I turn that off. The other thing, you can charge your phone with this. And I can't remember how because I don't do it. I always carry a little power pack now. But there's a phone charger on here. And for the life of me, I'll have to look at that because I can't remember where it is. I thought it was on that. You see this unit's a bit broke, look. That's me, that is, falling off. Luckily, didn't break the screen. Yeah, there is a charge point. I'll have to look at that. Oh, I think it's under there. Ah, yes, it's under there. You can't really see it, but there is a charge point for USB. 7-speed, look. But if I just show you the wheel spinning, see if we can get a fair look on. Let's stop that. Very free running, these wheels are very, very good. Because it's a brushless motor, there's no resistance, it'll just keep spinning. It's pretty good, like a normal push bike. As you see, I always keep the battery at 100%. As soon as you get home, plug it in, don't matter how far I've been. Is there anything else to explain? You can change all the power settings by holding those 2 buttons, and you can change the settings, but I've only just got it back right. But there is YouTube videos telling you how to do that. Right, I don't think there's anything else to explain. Right, here we have the other bike. This is the one, as I say, we've had years, and I've altered the old battery pack. Let me just get you the battery and show you. This was like a big upgrade to a really old bike. I had to change the plug on the end, which was no problem, but we've had this some time now. And this is to get away from the old lead acid. There's a charging point, so I've just taken it off charge, but we've had this for quite a while now, and if you notice, let me turn it on. Can we see that? I can never tell if we can see. Let me press that. Look, it doesn't light all the batteries now. I don't know whether you can see that, but it's still pretty good. But as I say, it's been used for a long time, but the lead acid batteries, you'd be killing you holding it in one hand, but these are so much lighter. It's an easy unit. Let's put it in the bike. It's as easy as that. And you could also say it's as easy for somebody to remove, but if you turn the key once and pull the key out, it locks it in position. So the battery can lock in there, but as I say, it's very rare. It's very rare I'll leave the bike with a battery in. If I nip in the shops or something, but you obviously put a lock on your bike, but the batteries are expensive. I mean, that battery was, I got that a little bit cheaper, but it was still getting on for £100, and they're a lot more expensive for the other bike. As I say, when you pedal this bike, once you pedal it, the motor starts and off you go. But I've changed that so that it now the electric only comes on with the throttle. So I'll just show you that. Now you see, now let's get the power on. Switch the battery on, switch the power on. So you can go as slow as you like with this. Well done. As I mentioned, flat out this bike, I think it's regulated at 15 mile an hour, but it don't do 15 mile an hour. I think it's a bit short of that. You can go faster if you're down here with the wind behind you, obviously. But if you see there, can you hear the blackbird? It's right near me, look. I think it thinks I'm giving it something. Anyway, as I was saying, they are regulated to 15 mile an hour, but that small bike, you're struggling to do 15 mile an hour. But if you want to just pedal along normal paces, it's brilliant. You're doing like 10 mile an hour, and with it just being able to put the electric on, it's so easy. And I'll be honest, I love this little bike. I mean, Wendy rides it, but often I ride it as well. As I say, I went down the Trent a few days ago and I took this bike. I've got a little box I can strap on the back, put all my stuff in it, and it's just great. And nobody takes any notice of you. Now that's one thing with the same bike. Let's just move over here and show you. This is something to think about that didn't really occur to me. That bike draws an awful lot of attention. Everybody looks at this bike. I mean, I understand again a little bit more common now, but it still draws a crowd. I wouldn't like to leave this bike anywhere. Whereas the other one, it's just an old-fashioned bike, nobody takes any notice. It's a big point, that is. I daren't leave this bike anywhere. It's fantastic, I can't fault the bike, it's brilliant. The other one, see, there's advantages in both. It's not all one way. I didn't show you how to fold the other bike, did I? Right, if I can remember how we fold the bike, let's have a go. Turn the battery off. Oh, that's wrong. We want that the other way. That's it. It's still heavy-ish, but that's a lot more manageable. And that's got the battery in it as well. So I've not made a very good job of that, look. It does actually fold up a bit smaller than that. But I find we can get both bikes in the car without folding them down. The handlebars can be a bit of a problem with mine, they're a bit tall. But let's put it back together. You see, they're both really easy. I don't know whether I did mention, I'm not sure now, I put a cutout on there, look for the battery. I think I mentioned it, but not sure, so that Wendy can turn the power on and off from here. You don't have to go to the key. Turn it on with a key, forget it, then she can just turn it on when she wants. And all you do to go, a lovely little throttle. This has got a little bit damaged. It was a little damaged when I got it, and I hadn't helped it, to be honest. It's got a bit scraped underneath, but everything still works fine. Made in the USA. It's been a cracking little bike, but just that battery and that switch and removing the restriction down there has made this bike so much better. As I say, it's only steady, but it's really good. Now, I did mention this is a steep hill. If you can see there, look, two young lads, look, got off the bikes pushing them. I don't blame them, it's steep, I did tell you. Anyway, we're at the bottom of the hill now. Let's see how the big bike copes.